Welcome back to another Pokemon Throwback Thursday, where every Thursday morning we take a deep dive into a new set. We're going in complete order, so the set we are checking out today is Sun and Moon Lost Thunder. Then, of course, we're going to be highlighting a certain Pokemon, and we're going to be checking their best cards in Pokemon history. And we are going to do a giveaway today. All you have to do is make sure you're subscribed. You have to hit that notification bell, you got to hit that like, and then you have to answer the question of the day. And we just did what was the worst legendary Pokemon, the worst mythical Pokemon, and the worst starter Pokemon final evolution. So for today's video, what is the worst starter Pokemon middle evolution? This is what we're giving away today. We got a nice Dedenne GX alternate art promo. And I do have to announce the winner from last Thursday's giveaway, and it is at Joshua Espinoza. So just shoot me an email and hit me up on Instagram. I'll get those cards sent out to you. And we do have to give a big thanks to our video sponsor real quick, and that is Punch-Out Gaming. Punch-Out Gaming is my local game store that I go to, and it's the #1 game store in all of Minnesota. I've actually been to them all. Nobody can beat their variety, and they're only located 30 minutes north of the Twin Cities. They also do every single set release at MSRP, and I think they do the same exact thing with One Piece also. So definitely check them out. I'll have all the links in the description. Then, of course, if you're going to grade through PSA for your very first time, you can click my link in the description, use the code BEARD25, and you'll receive $25 off your very first submission. And I highly recommend doing it yourself, instead of letting people like GameStop handle your cards. All right, let's get into it. We got Sun and Moon Lost Thunder. Came out November 1st, 2018. This is the set symbol right here. Total value, $2,268. And there's 22 secret rares, 409 total cards, including reverse holos. But we got the big boy, the Lugia GX Rainbow, one of my all-time favorite rainbow cards. Same with the Suicune GX. This is a card that someone gave me at a card party a few years ago and ended up losing it. Man, I still think about this card to this day. I did pick up another one, but still, it just bugs me that I lost it. They got a very nice Mimikyu here. And again, you know, you get the full art and the rainbow. But the Lugia Raw 218, Mimikyu 195. We got one of my all-time favorite trainers, and I know it's still, you know, $122, but I feel like it could be worth even more than that. Having all three starters like this in one card is kind of crazy. You know, having all those Gen 2 starters is just wild. And then the Rainbow Tyranitar, and then we got a couple very, very nice trainers. We got the Mina and the Whitney, and we got a Kahili. I probably butchered that. I'm not good with trainer names. And a very nice Alola Ninetales, too. So, very, very solid set, especially before alternate arts. This is definitely one of the best sets we had in the Sun and Moon without alternate arts. And here is the Whitney. So this has a pop of 422 and a 10, 602 and a 9. Last sold in a 10, $400. And then raw, it's like a 60 to about a $90 card. Next, we have the Rainbow Suicune GX. I do want to get this card in a PSA 10, especially, I mean, the pop. There's only 159 in a 10, 290 in a 9. So, a little tough to grade. Still, if you get this card, there's only another 158 people in the world that has the same exact card. And raw, 85, 75, PSA 10, 381, and before that was 327. Next, we have the full art Lugia. So this is a pop of 495 in a 10, 839 in a 9. Last sold raw, 115, 125, 83. We got a PSA 10 at 810, 799. And then a PSA 9 at 137. Next, we have the Rainbow Tyranitar. Pretty much same exact pop as the Suicune. Last sold in a 10, 325. We got a 9 at 95, and raw is about $50 to about $90. Next, we have the full art Professor Elm's Lecture. This is the trainer I was talking about. This has a pop of 320 in a 10, 368 in a 9. And last sold in a 10, 479, 450, and 390. Raw, we got a high one at 175. Others, we got one at 98, 100, 120. But, I mean, if these are some of your favorite Pokemon, like if Generation 2 is your favorite, this is kind of like a must-get card, having all those starters. Next, we have the Rainbow Mimikyu GX with a pop of 159 in a 10, 204 in a 9. Last sold raw, 200, 155, 180, 215. We got a PSA 9 at $899. Before that was $554. And before that was $1,000, so that's quite the jump. Next, we have the Rainbow Lugia. This has a pop of 725 in a 10, 933 in a 9. Last sold in a 10, 1100, 1060, 1050. And we got a PSA 9 at 250. And then raw 197, 160, 230, 225. And then we have the booster pack for Sun and Moon Lost Thunder. This was $29 3 months ago. Now last sold 44, 42, 45. And here's the Lost Thunder ETB. Man, if this ETB had a Lugia on it, it would be crazy, but we already do have a ETB with a Lugia on it. This was at $490. Now last sold $700 and $597 before that with barely any sales on TCG Player. Next, we have the Lost Thunder Booster Box. Last sold $16.50 and $16.99, and $16.50 was not that long ago. All right, getting into the Eevees, we're going to check out a bunch of these cheaper ones and appreciate some of these arts. So the one we got from Prismatic Evolutions is actually really, really beautiful. I think we have a promo of this too. But the Pokemon Go one's pretty cool. Fusion Strike has a very nice one. What else do we have here? Shining Fates is pretty cool. Astral Radiance, I really like that scene right there. There's so many with Eevee with flowers. This is one of my all-time favorite Eevee cards from Evolving Skies, where actually Rayquaza is in the card. In my opinion, I feel like that one should actually be worth a decent little chunk of money. I really like the Stellar Crown one also. That one is very, very nice. Let's see here. Furious Fist. That one's pretty cool. What else? This one's pretty sweet. Bunch of Pokeballs and looks like a Pidgey in there. And nice. Plasma Freeze. That art's sick. I really like the Call of Legends one also. Looks like a little puppy. All right. Let's hop to the next page here. So we're going to check out these vintage ones, obviously, in a bit. So we got a nice Sword and Shield promo. Nice holo. Here's another one too. And of course we got the VMAX, which I think we're going to check out here in a minute. And here's a couple basic Vs. I really like this one with kind of the rainbow in the background. And then we got another basic V, Sword and Shield promo. And then our Eevee EX from Prismatic Evolutions, just a basic Terra EX. Another Sword and Shield promo where Eevee's sleeping. That one is super, super nice. All right, I think that is about it for the cheaper cards. So we're going to go from newest to oldest now. So here's the Eevee EX Black Star promo. Got up to $647. Dropped down to about $256. Now last sold $300. And before that, we got a sale at $299. Next, we have the Eevee EX from Prismatic, the one you actually have to pull. This was at $685 in a 10. Went down to $411. And now last sold $500. This has a pop of $1,743 in a 10, $3,700 in a 9. Next, we have the Eevee Black Star promo. This is just a regular one. This was at $165, dropped down to $77, and now last sold $89. This is from the Prismatic ETB. And then we have the Pokemon Center ETB promo. This got up to $800 something, now last sold $460. And it's actually crazy. I really feel like Eevee got the most modern cards out of any other Pokemon. Even more than possibly Gardevoir. It's kind of crazy. Next, we have the Eevee from Twilight Masquerade. This is a pop of $11,000 in a 10, $12,000 in a 9. Last sold in a 10, $196, $215. Another one at $250, another one at $250. And PSA 9 at $59. Did it show the pop? No, it didn't. All right, and then we have the Chinese exclusive Eevee. As I'm saying, there's so many modern Eevees. So absolutely love this card. So this got up to $83, then dropped down to about $42, and now it's coming up a little bit right now, about $53. And this was $250 in a PSA 10, dropped down to about $98, and now it's selling for about $115 to about $120. I'm actually really liking the collector site now. It's very, very smooth. And we have another Chinese exclusive Eevee. This is the Radiant one. This got up to $75 raw. Holy. And now last sold, it's like an $18 card. And PSA 10, it's down to about $110. Was at $150 before that. Next, we have the Radiant Eevee Sword and Shield promo. This has a pop of $2,100 in a 10, $2,200 in a 9. This was at $294 in a 10, dropped down to $115. Now last sold $105. We got one at $125 before that. Pretty cool card, actually. Next, we have the Pokemon Together Eevee promo. Last sold in a 10, $270. We got raw at $99, $100, $150. That is crazy how expensive that card is. Next, we have the Sylveon VMAX alternate art. If you guys did not know, there's an Eevee right here. There's an Eevee right here. There's an Eevee all the way up here. There's even a Vaporeon in here. So I really feel like Sylveon and the Glaceon card are a little bit undervalued because just having those Pokemon in there is crazy. So this got up to $730 in a 10, dropped down about $620. Now last sold $688, $698. And this is a pop of 12,900 in a 10 and 3,700 in a 9. And here's the Glaceon. Right here has an Eevee right by the foot. Also has a Pikachu in there. It says a pop of 10,000 in a 10, 3,000 in a 9. Last sold in a 10 is 450, 446. And it was at $661 in a 10. Next, we have the Eevee Trainer Gallery from Brilliant Stars. This was at 450 in a 10. Now last sold 240. There's only 1,028 of these in a 10 and 2,800 in a 9. So pretty tough to grade. Next, we have the Sword and Shield Eevee VMAX. This is a pop of 6,500 in a 10, 3,000 in a 9. I was never a big fan of this card. We got PSA 10 sales at like $45. And it's literally like a $3, $4 card. Next, we have the Shiny Eevee from Hidden Fates. It says a pop of 4,000 in a 10, 2,200 in a 9. So was at about $105. Now last sold 80. And the sale before that is at 79. Next, we have the Eevee and Snorlax GX Tag Team. This is the non-textured alternate art. This is a pop of 995 in a 10, 1,000 in a 9. Last sold in a 10, which was a few weeks now, is $290. With the eBay sale at $325. Next, we have the Rainbow Tag Team Eevee and Snorlax. Last sold in a 10, $620. Before that, $720. This is a pop of 555 in a 10, 446 in a 9. And then we got the full art version. A little bit higher pop, 884 in a 10, 419 in a 9. Last sold in a 10, 499, 388, 440. And then raw, 150, 125. Very expensive for a full art. Next, we have the actual tag team alternate art, Eevee and Snorlax. It says a pop of 3,700 in a 10, 3,700 in a 9. This is a promo. Last sold in a 10 is 530. It was all the way up to $814 in August. And then raw, we got 100, 87, 115, 108. Next, we have the Eevee GX Black Star promo. It's from the Sun and Moon era. They kind of call this the Derpy Eevee. This is a pop of only 282 in a 10, 1,600 in a 9. We got an eBay sale at 1,850 in a 10, and we got another recent sale here at $2,395. Raw, we got 70, 50, 66, PSA 9 at 173. Next, we have the Eevee GX Full Art promo. This is from the Sun and Moon era. Nice silver background. This is a pop of 325 in a 10, 1,200 in a 9. Last sold raw, 15, 23, 10. And we do have a PSA 10 sale here at $265. Before it was $338, $374, $422. So it looks like it's going down in price a little bit. Next, we have the black and white promo. They call these the wallpaper cards. You can get these for all the evolutions. This is a pop of 4 in a 10, 95 in a 9. That sold raw. It's about a $45 to about a $75 card, depending on condition. And we got a PSA 10 sale here, which was a few months ago now, $12,300. Next, we have another promo. It's from the black and white era. This one has Eevee and Pikachu in it, and they are plain. It's adorable. This is a pop of 25 in a 9. We have no info of this card in a PSA 10, but raw, 168, 91, 144, 343, 235. I mean, that is crazy. Next, we have the Radiant Collection from the Legendary Treasures. This card is super beautiful. This has a pop of 32 in a 10, 321 in a 9. This is from the black and white era. Last sold raw, 15, 12, 20. Very, very affordable. And we do have a PSA 10 sale here at $1,575. Next, we have the Eevee on the Ball promo. This thing's kind of crazy. Little Pokeball, soccer ball. And that sold raw, 38.41. We got a PSA 10 at 250. Another one at 262. Does not show the pop report. Next, we have the McDonald's Eevee promo. This is definitely one of the weirder Eevees that we've gotten. This is from 2018. That sold raw, 7, 10, 12. Yeah, not a ton of info also in this card in the PSA 10, and there's only 18 9s. Next, we have the Eevee Build-A-Bear. It's a workshop card. Kind of cool. Last sold raw, 15, 20, 25. Says we got an eBay sale here at $133. Next, we have another promo. This is from the Sun and Moon era. Eevee's got so many promos. It's kind of crazy. But I love this one just because of, the action scene. We got Tyrogue in the background, one of my favorite Pokemon. I love those fighting Pokemon. That sold raw, 15, 9, 11. PSA 9 is $15, and we got a PSA 10 at $100. Next, we have the Eevee from Ultra Prism. Barely any info on this card in a PSA 10, but it's just so adorable, and there's 3 Eevees in there, so I thought I'd add that one. Literally a $5 to $10 card raw. Next, we have the Eevee from Unseen Forces. So you can get this in the reverse holo with a nice stamp. Kind of a unique art. Last sold raw, $29.17. We got a PSA 9 at $50. And we do have a PSA 10 sale here at $760. Next, we have the Eevee from EX Delta Species. I love all the Delta Species cards. This is a pop of 47 in a 10, 98 in a 9. This is a reverse holo, it says. Last sold raw, 70, 65. PSA 9 at 450. And we got a PSA 10 sale here a couple months ago at $1,525. Next, we have the other Eevee from EX Delta Species. This is a pop of 56 in a 10, 78 in a 9. That sold raw 40. We got a PSA 9 at 44. Says we got a PSA 10 at 307. That was a while ago. If we check the more recent ones, we got a sale at $679, and before that, $1,275, $1,200, $1,250. Again, this is the reverse holo with the nice stamp. Next, we have some e-reader cards. This is from EX Sandstorm. Let me know down below which e-reader Eevee you guys like the best. Is it the one from Sandstorm, the one from Skyridge, or is it the one from Aquapolis? I think I got to go Skyridge. I just love how like it actually has like, you know, like the ancient drawings and stuff in the background. I think it's just crazy looking. So here is the EX Sandstorm one, pop of 12 and a 10 for the reverse holo, and 91 and a 9, raw, 45, 55, 100, 75. We do have a PSA 10 sale at $1,393. Here is the Skyridge one. Again, everything from Skyridge is very expensive. Last sold raw, 105, 95. We had a PSA 9 at 153 and 200. And this is a pop of 17 and a 10, 66 and a 9 for the reverse holo. And we do got a PSA 10 sale at $1,280. And then here is the Aquapolis one. This is a pop of 6 and a 10, 26 and a 9 for the reverse. That sold raw 102, 80, 185. We got a PSA 5 at 45. And we got a PSA 10 sale here at $1,899. And that was like almost 10 months ago. Next, we have the Neo Discovery First Edition Eevee. This also comes in unlimited, and the unlimiteds are very, very affordable. Even the first editions are pretty affordable. This is a pop of 133 and a 10, 218 and a 9. That sold raw 14, 12, 15, PSA 9 at 50, and a PSA 10 at 157. And then we got another first edition, the Lieutenant Surge's Eevee. Pretty similar pop, 174 and a 10, 368 and a 9. That sold in a 9, 35, raw, about $13 to $20. And we do have a PSA 10 sale here at 148. Next, we have the Legendary Collection Reverse Holo Eevee. This is one of the most expensive Eevee cards ever. This is a pop of 27 and a 10, 225 and a 9. That sold raw, 580, 248, 283. That is crazy. Every time I look at these, it just blows my mind because I remember how much these cards used to be. You used to be able to pick these cards up. I mean, an Eevee would be $20, $25. And now it's just so expensive. We got a 9 at $700. We got a 9 at $700. And we do have a PSA 10 sale here at $10,000. That was literally last month. Next, we have the first edition Eevee Jungle. Again, this comes in unlimited. This card has recently been going kind of crazy. So it's 331 and a 10. And now last sold 540, 575. This is a pop of 1800 and a 10, 3900 and a 9, 1800 and an 8. And raw, still very affordable though. You know, 10, 15, 13. That's why it does pay to know this stuff, because if you come across this card for 10 or 15 bucks and it's super minty and it does hit the 10, I mean, we're talking $500. Next, we have the Black Star Promo Wizards of the Coast Eevee. Beautiful, beautiful card. Last sold raw 35, 45. We got a PSA 10 at 250. This is a pop of 237 in a 10 and 70 in a 9, so a little easier to grade. Next, we are jumping to some Japanese exclusives. This is a Sun and Moon exclusive. This is a pop of 147 in a 10. Last sale says 287. Raw, 145, 199, 125. And yeah, PSA 10s are all about 290. Next, we have Another Japanese exclusive. I could not find this card in English. Another Sun and Moon promo. Last sold raw 37, 39, 40. PSA 10 at 213. But let's get to the crazy stuff here. So we got the Unagaba Eevee with the nice unibrow. This is a pop of 18,000 in a 10, 2,700 in a 9. Last sold in a 10, 154, 150. Raw 70, 50, 66, 44. Next, we have the actual poncho wearing Eevees. So you can get all these Eevees wearing all the other evolutions as ponchos as the half arts. Very cool. I actually like some of these even a little bit more than some of the full arts for some reason. I don't know why. So we'll check out a few of these. Here we got the poncho wearing Eevee Sylveon. This is a pop of 601 in a 10, 1,100 in a 9. Last sold in a 9, $707, $839. And we got a recent PSA 10 sale here at $2,550. Before that, it was at $1,500. These cards don't sell a ton online in PSA 10s. Next, we have the Vaporeon. These all have very similar pops to last sold raw 475. We got a 9 at $742. And we got a PSA 10 here at $2,900. Before that was $4,000. But then before that, it jumped down to $2K again. Next, we have the Umbreon. This has a pop of 825 and a 10, 1,300 and a 9. Another one at 465. We got a 9 at 650. That was kind of older sale. And PSA 10, we got a new one at $2,600. It was originally listed at $3,400. Next, we have the Eevee Scream promo, some of my all-time favorite Japanese exclusives. I like these so much more than the ponchos, even the full art ponchos. I think these and like the Pikachu Mario and Luigi, I think those are like the top exclusives, in my opinion, along with the Festos, of course. But here's the Eevee. This is a pop of 3,000 in a 10, 4,800 in a 9. Last sold in a 10, $4,194. We got a PSA 9 at $966, $930, and $1,000. Raw, we got a $500 heavily played one. Then raw, we got one at $500, $910, and $550. And then, of course, we have the Scream Pikachu card because there's an Eevee in the background. Basically the same exact pop. Last sold raw, $2,800. And then we got a PSA 10 sale at $10,500. Before that, it was $9,800. And before that, it was $8,300. So it just keeps going up. Next, we have the Sapphirose Pikachu. Love this holiday card. This is one of the best Christmas cards we've ever gotten. But there's a very nice Eevee in the background. And this is just such a special, adorable card. This is a pop of 1,700 in a 10, 855 in a 9. Last sold raw, 350, 220. We got a PSA 9 at 256 and a 10 at $1,300. The sale before that was $830. And last on the list, we got all the Eevee products. So, of course, Eevee's on so many different products, all the prismatic stuff, the SPC, the ETBs, all that. But it even has a Pokemon Go Radiant collection. That's where that Radiant promo comes from. It's got some very nice tins. Got a very nice premium collection box that has all the promos. But one of my favorite things is right here, the Evolution Skyridge theme deck. This is a theme deck that I've always kind of wanted. I've just never been able to find one really, really clean in person. I like to get those decks in person. But that is a theme deck that I've wanted for a very, very long time because I opened one up as a kid. And I remember it clear as day. But also, all the prismatic tins. I mean, if you guys did not know, there's a little Eevee in like almost all of these. I mean, Leafeon has an Eevee right there. There's a little Eevee ear on the Sylveon one. Is there no Eevee on this one? I'm not seeing one. But I think that's super, super cool. That Eevee's kind of thrown in the background on some of those. But all right, that was today's Pokemon Throwback Thursday. Let me know down below what Pokemon you guys want to see next. And then, of course, if you guys want to stay ahead of the market and you guys enjoy this content, please make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a like and comment. If you guys want to support more, you guys can check out my Instagram, my TikTok, my Facebook, YouTube membership, all that. You guys know what to do. But all right, I want you guys to have a great day. And if you guys want to watch my last Pokemon What If Wednesday, which was a super crazy one, click this video here. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.